Well, ahoy hoy, Minecrafters. This is Dirk Lumner, and I'm back with you today on another redstone tutorial. This one is a cow breeding machine that I have adapted from Tango Tek's infinite villager breeding machine. I liked his idea, and I was trying to figure out how to use it and compact it a little bit, make it look better for breeding animals. And I came to the conclusion that the best animal to breed for this would be cows. So, why don't we take a look at the machine, then we're going to build one, and you'll see how simple it really is. Let's go. Okay, first off, here's the machine. This is actually two of them, side by side, mirrored. What happens is, we have two areas here with cows to breed. Well, let's just look at one of them, shall we? Let's not complicate things. We have a cow breeding area. And then what we have is the killing area down here where the hopper is that feeds into the chest. And you can see there's already been some cows that have died in there. Basically what happens is this is set up to a daylight sensor. And once per day, this daylight sensor is activated with enough signal strength, in this case 3 redstone signal, to activate this pulse limiter, which then will extend this piston and retract this piston in reverse order, because actually this one retracts first and then this one extends. And what happens is, if there are any baby cows in that chamber, they are pushed forward next to the sign, and then this block underneath them is removed and they fall down on top of the hopper. Then the block is replaced. As this piston extends again, this one retracts, and you're ready to go. Once per day this happens. Since a day-night cycle is actually 20 minutes long, and it takes a cow 20 minutes to mature, what happens is that anytime you have baby cows in this area, they will automatically be pushed down before they mature, and they will die when they grow up because they will suffocate in the block above it. It's a fairly simple build. Takes a little bit less materials than what Tango Tek's Infinite Villager Breeder did, but actually, when I say a little less, it's basically just one redstone torch. And I have two of these built next to each other, which means I'm only using one daylight sensor for both of them. But normally, you would only need one daylight sensor in this spot right here, where this redstone is. But basically, that's how it works. You use the button to activate water streams that let the cows bounce up and down so you can breed them. When you're done breeding them, you turn off the water stream. And that's it. So, now that you've seen it, we know how it works, let's build one. I've started over here with a simple hole where we're going to be putting our chest and our hopper. So we're going to put down a large chest and a hopper facing into it. That's all we're going to need these for. After that, you're going to need about half a stack of a block of your choice. You need 3 pieces of glass, 1 water bucket, 1 dispenser, 1 button, 1 sign, 3 sticky pistons. The 1 stone slab and 1 trapdoor is optional. I will get to that later. You're going to need at least 3 redstone, depending on whether you make a single one or a double, next side to side. If you make a double like that, you're actually going to need 5 pieces of redstone for each side. You will need 2 repeaters, a redstone one redstone torch, 1 daylight sensor, and in this case, we're just going to be using wheat and cow eggs to simulate the cows actually spawning there. So first things first, we're going to build a little glass tower here. It's going to be 3 high. And then we're going to be building around the killing chamber. Next, we're going to be moving, just adding some blocks like this. I'm going to remove this block really quick. We're going to use it to put in our piston. And then we're going to replace it. And what's going to happen is this piston now, don't need that block anymore, is going to be the one that powers this piston being moved in and out. This block here and this block here are where all of your cows are going to be sitting. This block is where all your adult cows are. This block will be a little bit underneath it. It's going to be next to it, but it's going to be only 1 high instead of 3 high in this area. And this is where your baby cows can wander into if they want to. But the water is going to be just in this area when it gets dispensed. And speaking of water, why don't we go ahead and add our dispenser right here. We'll add a bucket of water. And then we're going to be putting blocks like this. And on this block here, you're going to want to put a sign. It's going to stop the water from going here and flowing into this area. And then we're going to add more blocks along the back here. And just filling in around it like so. Actually, let's remove this block really quick so we can put in our piston in the back. There we go. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that this area here where the cows are at is going to be at least 3 blocks high. What's going to happen is the water, when it dispenses, the cows are going to jump up and down. If the cows jump up and down in this area here, they can't actually jump up and escape. So we don't want that to happen. Next, we can remove the block underneath the piston. We're going to place 2 blocks off to the side like this. We're going to put down a torch to extend that piston. We're going to put down 2 redstone here. It's going to be able to activate that. We're going to put a block here. We're going to put a repeater down on maximum delay. We're going to put a sticky piston down. A block of your choice. 2 more blocks. 1 piece of redstone and your daylight sensor. And that basically is the entire mechanism. What happens is when this daylight sensor is activated, it activates this pulse limiter or monostable circuit, depending on what you want to call it, which then sends a pulse here, which will power this piston temporarily. It will turn this torch off. It'll retract this piston a moment after this one's extended. And then when this finally unpowers, this piston will then retract, and this one will extend again shortly after because of the repeater that's right there. So basically that is it. I will also show you that you need a button to activate your water. You can put it on this block, this block, this block, this block, or the actual back of the dispenser. I'm just going to place it here. And there you go. You heard it fire off because the daylight sensor was activated. There was only 1 redstone. That was enough to activate it. Basically, that is all, though. What I'm going to use here extra is I'm going to show you how you can protect your mobs in here by adding just a slab and a trapdoor. You do not want to put the trapdoor here. If you put the trapdoor here, that partially blocks this area here, and the cows will not jump up as far. It will be more difficult to breed them. You want to put the trapdoor against the slab. And the reason I'm using a slab and not another block is because it's just not necessary to use a full block. Inside, we want to throw some cows. I'm going to put in, let's say 8. And there we go. And so how it works now is this. We will activate our water stream. We will watch our cows bob up and down. And we are going to just start breeding them. And you can actually collect the XP from the cows breeding right here. Now, to give you an example of how it works, let's do time set 22,500. It is now nighttime and it is still activated, so we're going to have to go back a little bit further. So, you now see that we have baby cows in there, and you need to turn the water off when you're done with the breeding. This is important because if you don't, that water source block that's in there will get destroyed when the piston extends in the back. So what's going to happen is any second here, there you go. All your baby cows drop into this area. When they mature, they grow up into the block above them, suffocate, their drops go into the hopper and directly into the chest. And that's all. If you want to build 2 of these sides by side like I did, all you have to do is remember this. There are a couple different things you want to do. First off, you're going to want to build a way to get up top. And to do that, the easiest way is adding a ladder right here and putting a block on the dispenser. And the reason you put a block on the dispenser is because when you mirror the dispenser on the other side, 1 block will then power both of them. And I'll show you what I mean. Let's grab another bucket of water. Let's put it in there. And as you can see, no cows jumping. And there they're jumping, and that is activated as well. And that would be going into the other chamber as well. And then when you turn it off, they both stop. That's why there's only one button that controls both of these chambers here. Unfortunately, this isn't really tileable. This is about as tileable as it gets. If you wanted to, you could build them repeating in this order, I guess you could say, in this configuration over and over again, right next to each other. There is no redstone on this side that would affect the dispenser. So you would want to make sure that you actually put either a block there to get to the button, or put the button somewhere that's fairly easy to access. But unfortunately, I mean, this is good enough. If you can get yourself 8 to 12 cows in each of these chambers, you can easily have 2 of these right next to each other, and if you breed them once a day, you'll have a stack of beef within about $3 or so. So, couple important things. One, when you use the water, and what we're going to do here really quick is turn that off, and we're going to get rid of this dispenser. When you use the water, it is quite important, again, that you turn it off when you're done. If you do not turn it off, the block back there where the cows are standing is where the water source is spit out. When the piston behind it extends, it will destroy the source block, meaning you will be left with an empty bucket in your dispenser. After that, if you activate it, it will just spit out the empty bucket, and you'll either lose it, or if you can activate the mechanism and the pulse limiter, it will actually shove it down into the hopper and it will come out in the chest. The second thing is this: if you're going to be breeding cows, it is very, very important that you do not try to breed them inside here. And this is the reason. If you breed cows inside there, what they will attempt to do is the baby cows will not find any space to stand where the rest of the cows are. They will move into this area next to the sign. If you disable the mechanism back here by taking out like this piece of redstone, for example, so that the pistons never extend and retract, the baby cows will find their way into this block next to the sign, and when they mature, will immediately grow up and just suffocate in this block above it. What you want to do is you want to find a space that's further away, and set up a very small breeding center, something like this. You want to just set up a very small breeding center like this. Actually, you might even want to just find yourself a fence gate, and then put the fence gate here. Oops, not there. Down here. And then just build up 2 high walls. Make sure you do fill in back here. You will need to remove the trapdoor for the time being, and then simply just add a water stream so that the cows automatically, when you let them out, they will fall in and they will automatically fall down into the breeding chamber. If you try to breed the cows inside the breeding chamber in here, you will never end up with more cows, because I can guarantee you 99.9% of the time the baby cows will move into this little one high area, and when they mature, they will immediately suffocate. You will not end up with any extra cows in there. I've tried, believe me. When I first came up with this idea, it didn't work out well at all. I ended up having to build a separate breeding area like this, and then just moving the cows over. It was the simplest solution. So basically, that's it. That's your cow breeder. It is basically an infinite cow breeder. The cows in here will always stay in this chamber. They will not move over. They will not suffocate. Baby cows may move over, and they may also suffocate in water if you leave the water streams on for too long while you're breeding. So you might want to think of that if you're going to be breeding more than once. And what happened here? Looks like, oh no, that wasn't the one. This is the one we just bred. As you can see, it's daytime now. And why don't we do a time set to 16,000, see what happens. And you can see, oops, I didn't even have that activated. I forgot I left the redstone off. So you can see now it's turned off. So again, if we go back to 2200, no. Let's turn that off really quick. Let's try breeding these guys again, shall we? Let's see if we have the time. Yep, they'll do it. Turn the water on. Let's breed some more. There we go. Come down here, pick up the rest of your XP. Turn your water off. Let's turn the daylight back on, and you'll see again, as soon as we have enough sufficient daylight, just coming up. And there you go. That's all it takes. Let's go back to day. Turn that off. And that's it. So again, fairly simple build. It is not resource intensive whatsoever, except maybe the daylight sensor, but you know, quartz is not that difficult to get. It's all over the nether. If you can get to the nether, you can get the rest of this really simply. If you have the cows, it's really easy to set up. Like I said, just make sure you get them into the breeding chamber from a separate breeding area. That's fairly important. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please give me a like on it. If you feel like subscribing to my channel, you can, the button is below. And I'd like to give special thanks again to Tango Tek for his infinite villager breeding system, which I will also link in the description below. And I guess that's all. Auf Wiedersehen.